The organization we're featuring today exists because it believes that food not only sustains life, it restores options and provides hope. Join us today as we talk with CEO Michael McKee to find out how the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank is striving to ensure that everyone in the community is able to provide food for their family. Come on. Michael, when and why did the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank get started?
The Blue Ridge Area Food Bank started in 1981, so we've been at this for about 33 years. And back then, we started as a food rescue organization. We saw our mission as going out and getting food that might have gone to waste, food from grocery stores or maybe manufacturers who overproduced and needed to get rid of that, right? So we gathered that really good, healthy, fresh food, and we provided it to church pantries and soup kitchens and shelters. So that was the whole idea, food rescue, but things have changed a lot.
So talk about who you serve now.
Sure, so when we first started, the typical person relying on a food pantry or a soup kitchen fell into two categories, right? We had people who had been struggling with poverty for a long time, maybe multi-generationally, and then we had people coming to us for help who needed help occasionally. They'd fallen on rough times, or they had a rough patch, or a big car repair bill set them back. And today, though, that's really changed. We're seeing a much more diverse group of people. We have a lot of elderly people. People over 65 are the fastest growing group struggling with hunger in our community. We have families, single parent households, intact families. And more than ever, we have people who are working and still coming to a food bank for help.
And that's something that really surprises people.
It really does.
What is the percentage of people who generally are working? It's something like 60%.
It is. We just did this study and found out that 60% of the households we serve report that someone in the home has been working during the last 12 months. And that is a huge difference than the way it used to be. And it's largely because of underemployment. When the financial crisis hit a few years ago, we were really concerned about unemployment, and that more than doubled in our community, right? Well, unemployment has come down, but underemployment, which includes people who've given up looking, and importantly, people who are working part-time but don't want to, people who'd rather work full-time, that number is persistently high. And that's why the number of people we're serving today is twice what it was in 2006. We're averaging 114,000 people a month across our 25 county service area.
Right, so 25 counties, 9 cities.
That's right.
Well, you talked about pantries. Let's go ahead and address that now. Explain how this works. What is the difference between a food bank and a food pantry?
So a food bank is an organization that acquires food from all over the place. We acquire food from the eastern half of the United States. So we're getting that food donated, or we're buying it, and then we distribute that food to church pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters. We deliver it, they come pick it up, and they provide that food directly to people in need.
Let's talk about the food. What type of food do you all provide? And talk about how that's changed over the last 10 years.
So when you think about food banks, you think about canned goods, right? Canned vegetables. And you think about non-perishables. Every food drive, you've been counseled to bring cans and boxes and no glass, right?
Right.
It's changing dramatically, and largely because of two things. One is manufacturers are producing less excess inventory, right? So we started as food rescue, but that's not what it's about anymore. Manufacturers are more efficient. There's less available to us as donations. Secondly, we're very concerned about the health of the people we serve. We know that obesity-related diseases are occurring at a much higher rate among people at or near poverty. And so we're acquiring much more fresh produce, 10 times as much produce as just in 2006. And so we focus first and foremost on vegetables with a longer shelf life. So it's potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, onions, oranges, apples, cabbage, those sorts of things. And those are grown more abundantly out of the area. And then we'll get food from the volunteer farm or the local food hub. Their growers will make smaller donations, but still important to us, especially for variety. We have a lot of orchards in our area, so we'll get a lot of apples and some peaches in season. And then about another half comes from local grocery stores. And that's produce that's getting pretty close to the end of life. So we've got to move that very quickly.
Right.
And a lot of our agencies will pick that up directly about the day or day before they're going to distribute it.
So now that you're able to distribute all of this produce to your clients, talk about the importance of educating people about what to do with it.
Oh, it's so important. And we've had people not understand what they might do with a sweet potato or even a carrot. And people are really removed from the source of their food, but it's so important to improve their health. So we're doing more education. We're providing recipe cards. We do tastings. We focus on simple things that we can do. We have a nutrition fellow, an intern, doing nutrition education. The other day, in cold weather, she made hot chocolate with sweet potatoes. It was great,
Wow.
but really helped people understand I can get all these nutrients into my child and not have to force feed them, right? So we're doing more things like that. But a lot of folks, they just haven't been exposed to some of this healthier food, and once they are, they really love and appreciate it.
Well, and when you think about it, if you have $10 to spend to feed your whole family, and you can spend $4 to get noodles, you know, packs and packs of noodles, which are filling, but there's no real nutritional value. That's what you're used to doing.
That's so important. The opposite of hungry is full. It's not necessarily healthy. And I really want people to understand that, because when you're living on such little income, $800, $900 a month, maybe $1,000 a month, you have very little money to spend on food. So it's really important that we understand what it's like to live in poverty, the really difficult choices that people have to make day to day just to get by, and we need to start with a little bit more empathy and compassion.
This is a big problem. A lot of people think about Charlottesville as being, you know, this very affluent community, and we are, but there's also a lot of people who do not have adequate access to nutritional food, affordable, adequate access to nutritional food at all times. So our mission is to give food to low-income families in need, with kindness and compassion, and also to give opportunity for people in the Charlottesville area to serve and help their neighbors.
My husband works, we're a working family, but there isn't enough to, you know, connect everything together. You know, there's months that bills don't get paid, and there's sometimes when we can't afford to put a nice, healthy, full-rounded meal or send the fresh produce for snacks for the kids for school. It really helps out a lot.
Instead of putting everything on a bill, you can always put some on a bill. But my main bill that I make sure I take care of every month is that rent, to make sure that roof stays over top of my head, my mom's head, and the kids' head. It's just that because everything is so high these days, and paycheck, still living paycheck to paycheck, and food is getting so high. So by the time I get like $133 in food stamps a month, that's one grocery shop right there. So I have to find other means wise of supporting them kids.
I think this is wonderful that they do this for people that need it. I worked my whole life as a nurse, and for 6 months I didn't walk. And it was because of disc in my back that came out of place. You know, I came here today. I mean, everyone, you know, the people I think a lot of times that need this don't come to get it because you are a little embarrassed about coming here. I mean, even though I feel like I've worked my whole life, I certainly am as entitled as anyone else, but I also feel like there might be other people that need it more, so I don't really want to come and get it any more than I can help.
With the grace of God, I thank Him for waking me up in the morning, and I appreciate everything anybody do for me. I never thought I would be to this situation, put it like that. And even people that see me, they would say, man, I ain't never thought Paul would be like that, but it's a lot of people don't know what you go through. You know, people take things for granted. Take life for granted. And I think, you know, like I said, I never thought I would ever get to this stage in my life, because I've been working since I was 15. And like I say, I lost my job due to an injury. You know, it's just hard trying to start over again.
Here's the thing, this problem isn't going anywhere, right? We thought we saw a spike at the end of the recession and then we'd see these numbers recede. They're not. The need is staying at a very high level. But this whole thing depends on thousands of volunteers stepping up and doing this work. We could never feed 114,000 people a month. We could never provide 20 million meals a year were it not for these grassroots organizations and all the volunteers doing the work. So what we like to remind people is when you're supporting the Blue Ridge Area Food Bank, you're supporting about 60 nonprofit organizations in the community because they turn to us for the food they need.
Right.
And because of their volunteer work and because of all the donations, the food donations we receive and the volunteers we have, we can be so efficient. You know, we are able to take a $1 donation and turn that into 4 meals for people in need. 96 cents of every dollar we spend goes to programs providing food to people in need. So it's a terrific system. We need the support, our pantries need more volunteers, and this problem is going to continue for a long time.
And you can be efficient because you have so many volunteers. That's so good. Okay, well today here at the warehouse, you're having an extreme makeover. What is it like on a typical day? What happens here?
So we have community organizations coming in and getting truckloads of food to take back, or we're loading up our trucks to deliver. You're going to see volunteers stocking shelves and inspecting food and making sure that what we have is safe and not contaminated. And so it takes a lot of hands, a lot of volunteers and staff to make all this happen.
So what are the goals? What are the goals and the challenges coming up?
Coming up, it's how are we going to sustain a very high level of service since the need continues to be so high? How are we going to help our partner agencies grow their capacity and add the volunteers and handle more fresh produce? How are we going to acquire more food when doing so is going to be more expensive? Right now we spend about 14 cents a pound for produce. We give it away for free. That's likely going to double over the next 3 to 5 years. So how are we going to do that when that's the kind of food that's both needed and in greater abundance? So those are the challenges we're facing, but we've had such terrific support from the community. We're really confident that people are going to be there when we need them.